Of course, human rights is weaponized, and it's weaponized by different kinds of people, and especially activists. There are few MPs who weaponize, I mean, like human rights in the sense that they use them in order to get political points at people, and some of them do it with regard to Morocco. But I mean, like they not only weaponize, I mean, like it's not only human rights that is weaponized, but also Algeria weaponizes its own gas, it weaponizes its own air, because it forbids like Moroccan planes from flying over Algeria. It weaponizes its economic trade with Spain because Spain took a position with Morocco. So yes, this is the age of weaponization and using, for example, things that are noble like human rights for political and ideological reasons. I think we know them. They have been over there. Some of them are from the extreme left. Some of them had for a long time believed in the Algerian revolution. And they have not been able to get over the fact that the Algerian revolution has finished by being a nightmare for the Algerian people. It has been hijacked by the military, I mean, like since the very beginning, but also especially since the 90s. And that now it's a dictatorial regime over there with a lot of authoritarian designs on society and all of that. But still, those people would want to vote. I mean, like not don't want to feel like intellectually and ideologically embarrassed when those lobbies have some sorts of relations with specific kinds of members of parliaments, and those members of parliaments then are in a way, I mean, like they choose, I mean, like they have what you call like double standards. They choose who they vote for and vote against, not because of principles, but because of ideology. Actually, what needs to happen is you cannot tell another country that you are partners, but at the same time, you can accuse them without having any kind of evidence. And the thing is, like, if you have any, even if you have evidence, there are channels wherein you need to discuss those kinds of things. So this committee, which is a joint committee, exists because you want to deal with issues that are of common interest, but issues also that concern the different parties. But you cannot just like agitate like that and then take a specific kind of media coverage that was based on unprofessional kind of report and then based on that. I don't think that's correct. And I think in the future, if we want to have a partnership, we need to build it on really more solid grounds. Now, the European government, the ball is in government, European Parliament corner, is like, do we have a partnership or we don't have a partner? If we have a partnership, then there are like tools, there are like mechanisms that we need to use, and we need to use them to discuss all the points that we are concerned with. Well, I think what happened is like the European Parliament took at face value what Amnesty International did, but Amnesty International did not rely on specific kinds of data that proved that Morocco actually hacked different kinds of people's phones. It relies on the fact that some people's phones were hacked. Some of them have some sort of relationship with Morocco, and therefore it concludes from there that Morocco is actually guilty of hacking those kinds of mobile phones. So there is a little bit of shortcut, but I mean, like when you make these kinds of accusations, you need to have real data, and you need to find data that prove exactly that the person or that the country you are accusing is actually doing this kind of thing. So I think that Amnesty International produced like really not objective, non-professional kind of report, and those people within the European Parliament who actually uh, uh, used that report in order to accuse Morocco have used a report that has been unsubstantiated. Even now, I mean, like those who are writing a report on Pegasus have said that Morocco, there is no proof that Morocco actually hacked those kinds of mobile phones. Well, corruption is corruption. It's like when you pay somebody to do something and you pay them illegally, you don't pay them commission. So that's a different story. Whereas lobbying, there are like different kinds of institutions around the world and governments which legalize lobbying because you can register. There is a register of transparency where you can register and you can lobby governments. For some people, that's part of democracy because you allow people to come and then talk to different branches of government and then try to influence them. That exists, for example, within the Constitution of the United States. It exists within the European Parliament. There is a transparency register where lobbying companies can come and register themselves. There are others who see that as influence groups who are there, they influence like people who have been elected by the population. But I don't agree with that. I think that lobbying has its own way of existing, whereas you need to open up the whole process for different kinds of citizens to organize themselves and also advocate for different kinds of causes. There are platforms within the European Union to do that, but I don't think that lobbying is a form of corruption.